Hey, what's up? How you doing? There's something in the air here. I think it's the cedar. It's getting in my eyes and it's making my eyes just. It's like somebody's burning onions. I wanted to show you this worst poet ever because I think I've heard of this guy before.
In history. Let me explain how. Pathos is a literary technique that evokes strong emotion in the reader by creating a sense of empathy, sympathy, or sadness in emotionally charged characters or situations.
Like
It's
this.
often used to make an audience feel a deep connection to the story and its characters, leading to a more profound emotional impact. Bathos, on the other hand, is a literary technique that creates comedy in what should be a serious moment, usually with a sudden shift in tone. Writers may intentionally make use of bathos to set up a seemingly emotional scene only to reveal an unexpected punchline.
Once upon a time, ships from all over the world used to sail in here. The water used to be covered with a film of oil, and when the sun shone on it, it sparkled of all different colours. When I was a kid, I used to think rainbows lived in the water.
So you was a bit of a divvy in them days and all, were you?
Writers may also unintentionally make use of bathos when they were aiming for pathos, making a scene that they intended to be emotionally impactful humorous because the message is so clumsily delivered.
You're lying. I never hit you. You are tearing me apart, Lisa.
Why are you so hysterical?
Do you understand life? Do you?
William McGonagall was a master at this, which is a shame because he often wrote poems about tragedies, like the Tay Bridge disaster, in which a railway bridge collapsed underneath a passenger train, killing all on board. Beautiful railway bridge of the Silvery Tay. Alas, I am very sorry to say that 90 lives have been taken away on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time. 'Twas about 7 o'clock at night, and the wind it blew with all its might, and the rain came pouring down, and the dark clouds seemed to frown, and the demon of the air seemed to say, I'll blow down the bridge of Tay. It must have been an awful sight to witness in the dusky moonlight, while the storm fiend did laugh and angry did bray along the railway bridge of the Silvery Tay. Oh, ill-fated bridge of the Silvery Tay, I must now conclude my lay by telling the world fearlessly, without the least dismay, that your central girders would not have given way, at least many sensible men do say, had they been supported on each side with buttresses, at least many sensible men confesses. For the stronger we our houses do build, the less chance we have of being killed. Not exactly a most touching tribute. You'll probably notice a few flaws in McGonagall's poem. Firstly, 75 people were killed in the disaster, not 90 like the poem states, but that's somewhat forgivable.
By the way,
What's less forgivable is McGonagall's deafness to poetic metaphor, or the fact the meter seems to shift all over the place with little rhythmic consistency. McGonagall's only apparent understanding of poetry was his belief that it needed to rhyme. Alongside his terrible poetry, McGonagall's behaviour as a poet was also quite unintentionally funny, and he was seemingly oblivious to his lack of talent, leading to some hilarious incidents throughout his life. William McGonagall was born in 1825 to Irish parents. There is some confusion on whether he was born in Ireland or Scotland, but he was raised in Dundee, Scotland. McGonagall apprenticed to follow his parents' trade as a handloom weaver, putting an end to whatever formal education he may have had. McGonagall prospered as a handloom weaver, but he seemed to miss his education and took to educating himself by reading English literature. He would entertain his shopmates by reciting Shakespeare, and even performed in a production of Shakespeare's Macbeth as the titular character, although it seems either he or his shopmates paid the theatre for this role. The story of Macbeth traditionally ends with Macbeth's well-deserved death at the hands of Macduff, although McGonagall had somehow become convinced that the actor playing Macduff was jealous of him and was attempting to upstage him. For this reason, McGonagall refused to die in the final act, for which history has awarded him the title of Worst Macbeth. You'd think a man that doesn't understand that Macbeth has to die at the end of Macbeth shouldn't become a poet, and yet... In 1877, at the age of 53, McGonagall and his wife were shocked to discover their eldest daughter had given birth to an illegitimate child, bringing shame to the family. Assumedly...
I thought I was hearing piano music from my own environment. This guy's bad. It's pretty bad.
Not wanting to be upstaged again, McGonagall decided to bring even greater shame to the family by becoming a poet. He actually doesn't really explain why he suddenly decided to start writing poetry at the age of 53, other than he was overcome with a strange feeling that compelled him to write. Sir Robert the Bruce at Bannockburn beat the English in every wheel and turn, and made them fly in great dismay from off the field without delay. King Edward brought numerous wagons in his train, expecting that most of the Scottish army would be slain, hoping to make the rest prisoners and carry them away in wagon loads to London without delay. The Scottish army did not amount to more than 30,000 strong, but Bruce had confidence he'd conquer his foes ere long, so to protect his little army, he thought it was right to have deep-dug pits made in the night. Then King Edward ordered his horsemen to charge, 30,000 in number. It was very large. They thought to overwhelm them ere they could rise from their knees. But they met a different destiny, which did them displease. For the horsemen fell into the spiked pits in the way, and with broken ranks and confusion they all fled away. But few of them escaped death from the spiked pits, for the Scots with their swords hacked them to bits. De Valence was overthrown and carried off the field. Then King Edward, he thought, it was time to yield. And he uttered a fearful cry to his gay archers nearby. Ho, archers, draw your arrows to the head, and make sure to kill them dead. Forward without dread, and make them fly. St. George for England be our cry. Then the Scots charged them with sword in hand, and made them fly from off their land. And King Edward was amazed at the sight, and he got wounded in the fight. And he cried, "O heaven, England's lost and I'm undone. Alas, alas, where shall I run?" Then he turned his horse and rode on afar, and never halted till he reached Dunbar. In 1878, McGonagall wrote a poem to Queen Victoria asking for her patronage. He received a letter of rejection that thanked him for his interest. McGonagall took this as high praise of his work, and despite the fact the letter was obviously written by some worker...
The guy was majorly an idiot. He was a big-time idiot.
...at the palace, took to calling...
No, I want out of here.
...himself the
I want to escape.
Queen's poet, and would tell people Her Majesty personally approved of his poetry. That year he set out on foot on...
That's bad poetry. Hi. I too like poetry. It's Hispanic music I'm hearing. So if they take out all these trees next door, we have a yard, an area in there, we're going to have to look at all the neighbors on the other side in that neighborhood. And that's not desirable. It's not. I would like to work to make some money. Maybe go over there and bulldoze and tromp around. Pull shit up. You know, what have you. What have you. We shall see. It's going to run the environment. Oftentimes I get depressed and I start to think about leaving this place. It's not time, but it's getting closer. It's getting closer. I won't live here forever. I don't know where I will go. I have talked to a lady about wanting, and this would have to be far in the future, no doubt, going to South America. Why South America? Why the fuck not? Why not? You in the jungle, baby. No, I'm not. I want to go to the jungle. Get up in there. Go do some Machu Picchu and shit. I want a Machu Picchu. As a matter of fact, I want a Lake Titicaca. I want a Sacsayhuaman. Man. I do. There's a lot of stuff down there. Giant cities. I mean, when they gonna start working on that stuff? They're gonna have to go dig it up. And that's when you're gonna have to fight the kukui. Oh, there's men down there. There's guys on hoverboards that are cutting off people. Have you heard of the face peelers? There's guys down there on these hoverboards that are peeling off native people faces. Or trying to. And then they fly off on these fucking things. They come in on these hoverboards and they're raiding motherfuckers. I think in Brazil there was some murder, death, kill going on. Some UFO was getting people to come and killing them. Let's see. Let's have a look. Let's find it. Because that's a thing. That's a real thing. I gotta put in this. So let me. The aliens in Brazil that were murdering people. Let's hear about it. Let's find out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
So we were following and pleading with him all the way out there. Please, just tell us. Please, I swear on my life this happened. He gets in the car, doors open. He looks up, and the only reason why I'm telling you this because he died. He looks up at Marco and I, and he goes, "It happened." Closed the door, and off he went. Now, the reason why I share that is because that's not something that I can put any weight on for the documentary for people like you, right? But as a personal message for me, knowing that level of validation on the inside, it kept us going. It was like, okay, why on earth would he have done that? Why on earth would he say? And that kept Marco and I going, and that was a personal level of validation. That
is there any conventional explanation why the military shut everything down, why they had military barricades set up?
This has nothing to do with why I want to go to South America. So this is a tangent.
Around that area?
No, they did try to say that the creature was this guy who's got like some deformities, but I've seen the guy, Modine or something like that. But you talk to the witnesses.
But why would the military shut the town down because of a guy with deformities?
And then for the doctors in the hospital, they said there was like a midget having a baby or something weird, just something that was just so ridiculous. And you talk to the witnesses, and they're just like,
midgets having babies.
You know, that's laughable.
Midgets have babies all the time.
These girls came within
pregnant midgets.
10 feet. Three women.
What's up, girl?
Katya, two sisters, Liliani and Valkyria, 14, 16, and 21. They got within 8 to 10 feet in broad daylight of this creature. And one of the things that doesn't come across in the film when they saw this thing, they're looking like, what are we looking at here? They're walking through this field, and it's up against a cinder block wall. And one of them was looking at it, said, what is that? And it was crouched by the wall. It was weak and feeble. And one of them kind of like screeched. Ah! Like, what is that? And it turned, and it looked right at the girls, locked eyes on them. Liliana grabs her younger sister, who's 14, Valkyria, and hightails it out of there. Katya is 21. She's frozen in her tracks, locked eyes with this creature, and is communicating with her. Please help me. It wants help. It's weak, and it's feeble, and it's scared, and it's crouched down. Liliana realizes that Katya is back there. She gets, 100 feet down the path. She leaves her sister, stay here, I'm going back to get Katya. She runs back. And I asked Katya, and I asked all the girls, during that moment of contact, when you lock eyes, I know it's only a brief second, but during that moment of contact, what did you feel? Like, put me there. That's where the title comes from, Moment of Contact, because that was when they locked eyes on this creature, and that's when Katya said, help me, I'm scared. And it was feeble and suffering. And it's a very powerful moment. And these girls have been saying the same thing. The mother. It's the first time I'd ever reported on these so-called like men in dark suits that show up and intimidate witnesses. Honestly, I've been hearing about those cases for so many times, but I've avoided them because it's got so much baggage from Men in Black. It's just ridiculous. I just didn't even want to be associated with it. But I'd heard it. I can go on until I'm blue in the face. I go until tomorrow morning with the amount of cases with generals too. But this time, when the mother said that these men showed up and tried to get the daughters to say they were lying and offered her a briefcase full of $100 bills and they could relocate, I don't know, for some reason I said, okay, for the first time in 25 years, I'm going to report on these guys. And I did. And it's in the movie. You can hear the mother talking about it, and she's so emotional. And the mother came back to the location right after it happened. The smell, that stench, and the footprint on the ground. I mean, everybody talks about that stench that was so... They said, if you ever take like a skunk, multiply that by like 100,000, that would give you some indication of the level of like how putrid and nasty. It was paralyzing. And it stayed in the areas, like at the hospitals when they did the x-rays, and everybody talks about it. That stench, though, it's unbelievable. Like, it fills your navel cavities and doesn't leave for a week. It was incredible. And then they all said the same thing.
And they couldn't get it out.
They couldn't get it out. Yeah, they sanitized the hospital. The guy said that he had to close off that wing of the hospital while they were sanitizing it because it was so intense. So
How long did it last for?
I heard days and weeks is what I heard from people, and even the mother said when she went to where the creature was, she said that the stench even there after the creature was gone got in her nasal cavities, and she tried to flush it out with water and saline or whatever, and she just couldn't get it out of her nasal cavities. Really crazy, but they all did. I mean, everybody talked about that stench. I mean, the military officer. The guy that drove the creature around, I was sitting across from him. You can't see his face, but I did. And I'm looking this guy in the eyes. I'm thinking, I could be looking at a guy that drove a fucking alien around. You have no idea, dude. You have no idea.
How did he describe it?
So fucking intense. When I came back from that trip, people were like, how was your trip to Brazil? What was it like, man? They got great... smoothies and coffee. I'm just like, you guys have no idea. I think the alien spaceship crashed, and they recover live aliens, and we made contact, and the Americans came in. That's what I'm thinking about. So I told a couple people. On the last trip I came back, I was just like, I was so rocked. I couldn't reintegrate back into the culture. It was Joe. I was just like, look, I think this happened. It's the biggest story ever. So people were asking me. Even my neighbor who runs that Make-A-Wish Foundation, he was like, James, he goes, bro, I like you a lot and I got a lot of respect for you, but you lost me on this one. And I was like, I don't blame you, bro. I really don't. But listen to the witnesses. That's all I say. And I would tell people, and I realized I can't talk about it. All I can say is just listen to the witnesses. Don't take it from me. But I'm looking at that guy in the eyes, Joe. And I've been at this for 30 years. I'm working on my 7th film right now. I'm looking this guy in the eyes and I'm like, this guy probably drove an alien around. And it tripped me out so hard. And it ruined his life. He's to get this guy to go on camera, just like a week earlier, he was like, I don't care all the money in the world, I'm never coming forward. The risks are too high.
How did it ruin his life?
Because you're harboring this secret. You're being watched. You're being told not to ever talk about this. And you're looking over your shoulder all the time. And they call you, the military calls you periodically. They want to know where you are. And he's got this secret inside him that he can't tell the rest of the world. And he's thinking about all the different, everyone's out there speculating, is it real, is it fake, is it real, is it fake? And this guy drove a body around. Just think about that for a second. Think about the doctor who took the x-rays of this thing. Marco Leal, thank you Marco, you're the man. Marco Leal found him 8 years ago. And he was like, he confirmed the story. He was still working at Regional Hospital. He goes, I'll never come forward. Marco kept going every year back and forth. Then he retired, and 4 years after he retired, he agreed to meet with us. He wasn't even sure he was going to go on. And I said, look, man, we'll film you from the back. We'll disguise your voice. Showed us photographs of him at the hospital. We know we've been trying to get at him. Excuse me, at the end of the interview, he said, thank you. I feel so much better. I've been shouldering that burden for 26 years, and I've so desperately wanted to tell somebody, to share that story with the rest of the world. And you meet these people, and you think, why on earth they didn't come to us? They're not trying to sell their story. We tracked them down and begged and pleaded with them to come forward. When I found Marta, the sister of the deceased military officer, Marco Chirizi, we were knocking on doors. I remember the sound guy from Rio de Janeiro. He was like, you're out of your mind, dude. What are you doing? You can't just knock on random doors. I was like, man, if there's a will, there's a way. I'm going to find this lady. And we found her. And it was like this kind of sketchy area. You know, it's like when you